There was a world not ruled by humans but by power. A city made entirely of cars, streets of steel, skies filled with smoke and silence. This city was divided into three worlds. The first belonged to electric cars, clean, silent, efficient. They believed the future was theirs alone. The second was the land of petrol and diesel cars. Loud engines, burnt fuel, history written in oil and fire. And the third was the Royal Zone, a place untouched by time, where old blood ruled, where nawabs, lords, and mafia bosses lived behind iron gates, the only ones powerful enough to decide who stays and who disappears. At the center of the electric zone stood a man who believed himself to be the future, Kai Neon, chairman of the Electric Council. To him, petrol and diesel cars were not rivals, they were mistakes.
Petrol and diesel are not enemies, they are garbage.
Kai Neon hated them, not because they were weak, but because they still existed. So he did what powerful men always do. He didn't start a war. He started a plan. In the shadows of the Royal Zone lived a man who never chose sides. Only profits. Raven Cole. Mafia boss. King of black markets. Savior to those he enslaved with debt. Kai Neon came to him with an offer. Not money. Not power. Opportunity. When the petrol and diesel cars are removed, Kai Neon said, they will need shelter. They will need protection. You will give it to them at a price. Raven Cole smiled, because nothing tastes better than gratitude forced by fear.
People don't need freedom, they need shelter. And shelter is never free.
But one obstacle remained. The Hawthorne family, an old royal bloodline, respected, untouchable. Lord Alexander Hawthorne refused to sell his land, refused to bow, refused to betray history. So Raven Cole sent a message, not in words, but in action. The young duke, the grandson of Lord Alexander, disappeared. Panic spread through the royal zone. Silence replaced dignity, and for the first time, the royals hesitated. With the royals distracted, Kai Neon moved. He entered the petrol zone, not as a guest, but as a judge. He walked among the old engines, the cracked metal, the leaking oil, and he spoke with poison disguised as law. He accused them of smuggling spare parts, of stealing components from electric cars, of selling them back through the black market. You are the only ones capable of this, he said, because this is all you are good at. Fear spread, but fear alone was not enough. Kai Neon provoked them, threatened them, promised eviction warrants signed by royal hands, because everyone knew one truth. When the royals decide, no one argues. Just as the situation was about to explode, a calm voice cut through the chaos. Professor Elric Dawn had arrived, chairman of the Petrol Cars Council, a man of balance in a world of extremes. He silenced the crowd, he listened, and he saw the fire growing behind everyone's eyes. Kai Neon spoke again. Our people are being dismantled, our parts stolen, sold back to us through the black market. This crime has only one source. He pointed at the petrol cars. Before anyone could respond, a sound echoed through the streets, heavy, mechanical, unapologetic. Cale had arrived from the Truck Society, an old diesel truck, scarred, powerful, still standing. His engine roared. His revs are solid. He stood tall. Kai Neon stayed silent, because even the future knows when not to speak. Professor Elric Dawn looked at Cale and then at Kai Neon and said, this is the difference between you and us. You are the ones history writes poems about. We are the ones history is written by. Kai Neon laughed. When petrol and diesel disappear, he said, we will see how far you can run. Professor Elric Dawn answered calmly, we will live with dignity, and when the time comes, we will die in peace. The city fell silent because everyone knew this was not the end. This was only the beginning. And then Cale said, engines don't lie. We carried this city before you learned how to charge it.